Good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning. How are you this morning? How are you? Oh, today is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. You know, yesterday I forgot to tell you all it was Truthful Tuesday, but you all remembered because I saw a lot of you all write comments in the comment section. So you all remembered. I'm like, look at this. My own subscribers remembered and I didn't. I was so busy concentrating on this ear that I forgot to tell y'all that it was Truthful Tuesday. So it is Truthful Tuesday, you guys. Yesterday it was Truthful Tuesday. Today is Wednesday, September, wait a minute. No, today is September 3rd, 2025, not September 2nd. Yeah, September 3rd. He ran that light. So yeah, today is the 3rd day of September, in the year in the Lord of our Savior, 2025. I want to give you all an update about my ear. I did do a short video. If you didn't see it, I'll let you know what's going on with my ear. I'm so sick of this. But I will tell you all. Let me make this turn. You know what? Before I tell you all about my ear, I've noticed, I've been watching a lot of different content creators on YouTube, and I noticed that people have stolen my introduction when I get on here and say, hello, beautiful people of the world. I'm hearing a lot of creators. I'm like, okay, y'all been watching me, because I hear people saying, hello, beautifuls, hello, beautiful people. You know, I think I was the first one to do that. I could be wrong, but I just think I was. Anywho, I hope you all had a great day yesterday. For those of you that are retired, you know, and I'm hating, you guys, you know, your days run into each other. You all can't remember what day is what. You know, you all had your holiday, and it's not like you got to worry about going back to work the next day like some of us. I'll be glad when I get to that point where I'm just free, where I am free. You know what I mean? So yesterday I went to the ER after work, and I was debating about going. I kept going back and forth, and yesterday morning, what made me go was yesterday morning when I woke up. Remember, if you watched my yesterday video, I said I just want to cry. I said because I'm just in pain. So that's what made me go. What made me go was the fact that I was in pain yesterday, and I was like, I'm just so tired of this. My ear was throbbing and aching and all of that. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm just going to go on and go and see what they say. And she advised that. Now, looking back on it, I wish I had went to the ER first before I went to urgent care. This is just my opinion. The emergency room, you know, seems to get you out and about. The medication that they give you, and this is more thorough doctors, you know what I'm saying? And they just seem to know exactly what to do. So I wish I had went there first, because the last time I had an ear infection, that's what I did. I went to the ER. Today makes 3 weeks, to be exact, that I have been dealing with this. 3 weeks. Now I have a doctor's appointment to see my care provider in this month. I got to go on my Live Well app and see when is my appointment. But I wish I had went to the ER first. When I had the pink eye, I went to the ER. And I wish I had have done that for this, because I spent $50 because I went twice to urgent care. That's a $24 copay. Now, and I already spent $50, and now my bill for my emergency room, which I ain't paid that bill from the pink eye. I got an outstanding bill of $200 that I have to pay for the emergency room for the pink eye that I have not paid. And now I have a $200 bill that they're going to bill me for yesterday's visit. Oh my goodness. Are you telling me that they're getting ready to redo this street? Oh, mercy me. I hope they are. Oh, Lord, please let them be able to, please let them get ready to fix this street. I see they tore it up. Oh, but this is the worst street. Yep, they getting ready to redo it. Well, I be darned. I've been waiting and waiting for them to redo this street. It's about time. Oh, I hope the people over here in this neighborhood have been complaining. Seriously. The dust, though. Jesus. They need to tear it up all the way down. Look like that's what they're getting ready to do. It needs it so badly. This is the most raggediest ass street right here. But anywho. So now I owe $400 because I didn't pay the bill from when I had the pink eye, right? So I just never paid it. I don't know why I didn't pay it, you all. I don't know. I might have had some other stuff going on. I don't know. But in any event, I think they sent it to collections already. I'm just being honest. But I'll pay it. I don't know why you have to pay $200. And this is why people don't like to go to the ER, because it's expensive. You know, but we end up going to the ER. I wouldn't want to work in the ER. It's too many sick people, and it was kind of crowded in there. They took me right back. There was a lady sitting in there. She said she had been there for hours, and she said when they called me back, she was, because I asked her, I said, what's going on with you? And she said, oh, my blood pressure was up. And she said, I don't go here, but they told me to go to the nearest ER. So I think she was diabetic, and when I had seen the doctor came out with my paperwork, she was like, you saw him already? I was like, I felt bad because they took me. I guess whatever they thought was going on with her wasn't that serious. I said, you should go up there and ask them what's going on. I said, if you've been here all this time, I would ask. So I think she was doing that when I was getting ready to leave. When I did, I felt really, really bad. She was an older lady. Then I saw my mother's neighbor who lives down the street from my mother. I've been knowing her. She's been living down the street from my mother for years, and I just couldn't believe that she's younger than my mom. But I guess she's had some health issues. But anyway, when we had the book bag giveaway, my girlfriend, my childhood friend's mother is good friends with this lady. And she was telling me, she said, yeah, Miss Ellen had this cough, and she can't get rid of this cough, and she just been coughing. She said, this has been going on for weeks. And I was like, is it pneumonia? Because, you get pneumonia any time of the year, not just in the winter and fall season. You get it in the summer. She was like, I don't know. I said, well, you all need to encourage her to go to the doctor. I said, how old is she? She told me she's the same age as me. She's 70. What she say? 76, 77, something like that. And I was like, oh, So when I saw her yesterday and I saw how she's all bent over, I was like, I know she had some other health issues. She fell, she broke her arm. I remember that. But I tell y'all, she in her right mind, though. She knew exactly who I was. And I think that she probably, she said that they told her that she has a severe case of bronchitis. And bronchitis you can have a cold and they can lead into bronchitis. I've had bronchitis many times. So she was talking about, she was still coughing. And then I was thinking to myself, I wonder does she has RSV, which is a, respiratory virus. My sister had it, RSV. And it does make you just cough and cough, And that can be irritating. She was saying that she hadn't gotten any sleep and, and my mother got her RSV vaccine shot. And I think I was supposed to get one. I didn't get one, but I did get the flu shot and COVID last year, like I told you all at the same time. And I will never do that again. Never, ever will I do that again. I did not feel good, and neither did Christopher. We will never do that again. Anywho, which reminds me, I gotta call and make an appointment for him because Christopher and I, we have the same care provider. And the story behind with her is that I used to be the secretary here at the University of Chicago, and she was a med student. It's just amazing how things change and you come full circle back with people. She's now my doctor, and I was her secretary, and now she's a doctor. And so she is Christopher and my doctor. She's both of our doctor. So I had to make an appointment with him. It's so hard to get an appointment, you guys, with these doctors. I don't know where you all live, you all have the same issue with getting doctor's appointments. It's just so difficult to get a doctor's appointment. Why are you over here? Oh my goodness. She's scared to drive, he's scared to drive. Get a doctor's appointment. I mean, they be booked for months and months and months at a time. And I'm like, so if you have a doctor's appointment, you better do everything you can to keep it. Because you ain't gonna get another one. I need to go ahead and look to see what my doctor's appointment is. Because I do not want to miss it. And normally they'll send you like a text or an email letting you know, when your doctor's appointment is coming up. It's like pulling teeth to get a doctor's appointment. And this is the thing that irritates me. They say, well, early prevention is key. Early prevention. Okay. So it's early prevention for you to get a doctor's, for you to have this doctor's appointment and to get a doctor's appointment, but you can't get in. And then they say follow up with your care provider. Okay, but I can't get an appointment. It's just, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like I said, I don't know if you all have the same issue where you live. you not being able to get a COVID vaccine unless you are an elderly or you have an underlying condition. My mother was saying you probably could get a COVID shot because you're pre-diabetic. I said, yeah. I said, but I'm not really pre-diabetic. You know, I'm really not. So I don't know. I just don't know. I wanted to talk to you all about something. I can't remember what I want to talk to you all about. It come to me. Oh, so yesterday when I put up, I did the video and I told you all that my ex-friend did not show up in either one of the picnics. Now I didn't think that he would drive to Kankakee. It's a little far, and he does drink. He's not a heavy drinker, but I did not think that he would come because of the drive. But I thought he would have come to my class of '88 picnic because all his homies that he friends with were there. But he didn't. So Miss TRC wrote on my video that, because I had said I think that he thinks that if he saw me that I would embarrass him. And Miss TRC said, no, I don't think that he thinks that you would embarrass him. She said, I think that, he's a coward and, he can't face you. And I could go with that. And I believe that as well. However, I told one of my good girlfriends what Miss TRC said. And so we were on the phone last night. And so I said with one of my YouTube subscribers who I've gotten to become very fond of, and I talked to, I said I was mentioning that, but I didn't tell her that part. I just said when I was talking to one of my girlfriends, I said, and she said that, she think that that he can't face me because he's a coward. She was like, no. She was like, I don't think that's it. So I said, well, what's your opinion? She said, my opinion is that it's not that. She said, she's right. He can't face you because he knows what he did, how he treated you was wrong and how he treated you was bad. She said, but what it really is that he just can't be around you because he knows that he can't handle being in the same space with you. She said, because he still has something for you. And if he's around you, he knows that he's going to say something to you. She said, think about it. Every time you all have fallen out or have not talked or didn't speak or whatever, she said, even when you all weren't really, really talking, she said, remember how you said that, you turned around and he was there, and then when you saw him at the picnic, how he was staring at you? She said, she said, I really, really feel that he knows that if he sees you, he is going to want to say something to you. And he doesn't want to start that back up with you. So he just stays away. She said, I don't think he can, I don't think he can handle it because the attraction for him is still there. And it's strong for him. She said, I don't think it's that she said, now he is a coward. She said, but it ain't just that. She said, it's more that, okay, if I'm around her, I know I'm going to want to say something to her. And I know that, she said, because he did it the last time, remember? She said, y'all saw each other. She said, he couldn't just let you walk past. He had to get your attention. What's up, Miss Cotton? You ain't going to speak to me? That's what he said to me. She said, you remember? She said, and I told you then, because we had a bet going, she and I. She said, but she went to my high school too. She said, I bet you any amount of money he say something to you at the all-class picnic. This was last year. I said, no, he's not. She said, okay. She said, I bet you, I don't remember how much we bet. When she saw him over there talking to me, she gonna say to me, okay, I'll take my money and change. She said, I'll take my money and change. She said, I told you. She said, he can't do it. She said, he can't be around you and not say nothing. She said, he can't. She said, even, she said, remember you said you all were on the page. You all were on the, you all were on the group page. She said, what did he have to do? She said, y'all weren't even talking in. She said, he had to say something to you. She said, he always got to have something. He always got to say something to you. And I said, I said, I never looked at it that way. I said, but I'm not saying what Miss TRC is saying is not correct or what she's saying. Both are valid points. I said, so I told my girlfriend, I said, well, I guess he ain't gonna never come to nothing. I said, because I'm going to be at everything. And I know he's not going on this cruise. That's what he told me. He said he wasn't going on a cruise. Because this was a while ago that I asked him that. He was like, no, I'm not going on the cruise, because I asked him. So I know he won't be at that. All right, y'all. I'll be right back. It's so dark out here. I feel like I was walking into a spider web. You ever had that where you walk into a spider web? I hate that. Come on, y'all. Parking space. Yep. People say, you get in that early just to park? Yeah, because ain't no parking back here or up there. And I ain't got time to be arguing with people about no parking space. I just get my ass up and get here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for all that. And I'm a type of person, I've always been like this, and my father instilled this in my sister now. He said, it's better to be early than late. He used to always say this to me all the time. He said, when you want for a job interview, he said, leave an hour early. He said, go somewhere. He said, be near where your job interview is. He said, go. My father used to call donuts rolls. He said, because I used to always say, I went and got me a roll. I said, a roll? He's like, you know, a donut. He never called donuts. It was always a roll, like a cinnamon roll or whatever. He said, go somewhere and get you a roll and get you some coffee and sit and relax until it's time for your interview. You know, be at your interview. And I used to think an hour earlier. He said, you never know what's gonna happen. You don't want to be late. He was a stickler for being on time. He would leave you. He would call the house. I'm gonna be there at such and such a time. Y'all ready? We getting ready. Y'all getting ready. Okay, one time he left me. We was going to my cousin's birthday party. And he was already at my grandmother's house. My aunt lived there right around the corner from my grandmother. And we were going to the birthday party. I don't know where my mother was, but I said, Daddy, I need my hair combed. So he had to come and comb my hair. You should have seen my hair. Ooh. Wherever my mother was, she ended up meeting us at the birthday party. And she was looking at my hair, and I was like, I was trying to, he braided it, and it was sticking this way and sticking that way. And I said, why you didn't do my hair before you left to go wherever it was she was at? I was pissed. I've always been a girly girl. Always. Cherie knew how to do her hair. A little bit. But after that, after he did that to my hair, I was like, oh no, dude, you don't get to messing my hair up again. Oh no. I did my own hair. I was so angry, I didn't know what to do. He's talking about, well, I did the best I could. I'm like, this was the best you could do? It was terrible. But he would leave you, and we were going to this birthday party. Might have been another birthday party at the time. And I was not ready. He left me. He came back, but he dropped my, that was so stupid to me. You might as well have just waited. I'm gonna tell you all this. I'm slow in the morning. Christopher is the same way. I'm slow in the morning. So I know that I have to get up early to get myself together. I have to. If I got somewhere to go, work, a flight, I have to get up early in order to be on time because I'm slow. I'm the type of person, I have to get myself ready at night. Not for this job, but I don't like to be, like this job, it's easy. I just throw on a pair of blue jeans, you know, the stretch pants, which is so goofy because I wear my stretch pants here. And because they, you know, want to trip about my stretch pants. So what I've been doing is I've been wearing my stretch pants here. I bring my blue jeans. I go in the bathroom, change it to my blue jeans, change it to my boots, and then take it off when I leave up out of here. Because I'm not on no truck. I hate wearing blue jeans to work. They are uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Well, my father would leave you. So I learned that from him. And one thing I do know about myself, and my father taught me this as well. He said, if you get to work and you rushing because you late, and you got to go right in and start your shift or whatever, he said, you ain't had no time to kind of unwind. He said, you shouldn't just get to work and go right to work. He said, get to work, sit, have your coffee, your roll, and relax before you got to go to work. I said, okay. And my sister is the same way. She gets to work way before it's her start time. And we got that from him. My mother is not a person that, she's a stickler for time too, but not like him. Oh my God. I used to say, we don't have to be there to such and such a time. No, we ain't gonna be late. We ain't gonna be late because they talk about black folks always being late. I used to say that all the time. We ain't gonna be late. I said, okay. All right. So I'm a person that really got that from him. And if you wasn't ready, he was leaving you. I told you to be ready at this time. I told you all. Been here 13 years. January 2026. January 21st of 2026, I will have had this job for 13 years. I have never been late but one time in 13 years. I've never been docked. For my pay because of being late. And the only reason why I was late that day was because of the riots that were going on downtown. They were downtown, tearing up downtown when George Floyd was murdered. That was the only reason why I was late. And when I think back on it now, I wish I had called in sick that day, because my boss punished me for being late. He made me go and clean up this lot. See, I'm telling you, I had some doozies of people working here. So he made me go clean up this lot because I was late. He's like, why, you should have just called in. I said, yeah, I should have. I said, because you sure don't appreciate the fact that I got here. Then he sent me to the alley with my partner. But he called himself punishing me. It was so much shit in this lot. I could not physically myself clean it up. You know, I have been to hell and back right here on this job. Being a woman, a black woman, a plus size woman. The amount of racism, sexism, body shaming that I have experienced has been right here on this job. This job pays good money, but it is the worst job in a lot of ways. The morale here is horrible. They don't really want women here, but they have no other choice because you can't discriminate against women anymore. But oh, they don't make it easy for you at all. They don't. Not at all. That same boss, he was talking about me. And he didn't know that I was on the phone. And I heard everything that he said, him and another boss. The lady that had me on the phone was because I had gotten sick and I had to leave work. And I had had COVID. I had had COVID prior to this incident. And I had just come back to work. I had been back to work like 2 weeks. And what people don't understand about COVID is that you have something called long COVID, where you may be not positive anymore. You may have tested negative and are not positive, but you have some of the same residual symptoms. So that's what was going on with me. So I went to work. I was working, dumping garbage. And I was like, oh. I just don't feel good. So I had my driver at the time. I said, because I didn't have my supervisor, my direct supervisor, who was a supervisor over the route, I didn't have his number. So I said, can you do me a favor? Can you text or call Pete and let him know I gotta go home? I said, because I'm feeling really, really bad. So he said, okay. He said, what's wrong? I said, I just feel sick. I said, I'm nauseous. I said, I don't have no energy. So he said, okay, I'll call him. So he called him. So he said, hey, Pete, you need to come and get Cece. She's not feeling well. And we almost done anyway. Arvell, that's who my partner. He said, Arvell can finish the route. So he said, okay. So he came and got me. And I punched out and I went home. I immediately went to urgent care to see, and this is before they were sending you the COVID test the home kits. So I immediately went to urgent care where I had went before when I found out I had COVID. So I went to urgent care and they tested me again. Now I had to be retested before I was to return to work. I had to have a negative before I return to work. Now what they're doing here in my job is that if you get COVID, before what they were doing, they were paying you. You didn't have to use your sick time. They paid you if you had COVID. The whole department up here up north, everybody had COVID. Everybody. The bosses, everybody. It wiped our department. We had to have people from other divisions come to that district to dump garbage because all the employees were out with COVID. the clerks, everybody. So, in order to come back to work, you had to have a negative test, a negative result from COVID in order to return back to work. So when I went back, the girl said, well, we tested you. I said, I know. I said, but I don't feel good. She took my temperature. I had a slight temperature. She said, you don't have COVID. And then that's when she explained to me how you can have long COVID. I had been out of work almost about a week and a half. And when it was time for me to go back to work, I still did not feel 100%. But they were telling me, if you test negative, you got to come back. So now if you get COVID, they don't pay you COVID pay. You got to use your sick time or go on disability. Hey, good morning. You got to go on disability. They don't pay you no more. So I go to the doctor and she says, no, you don't have COVID. She said, but you probably having some residual effects from it. So I said, oh, okay. She said, but I'm going to give you this note, and I'm going to send something to your employer. She said, but I think you need to stay off. You need to stay off a couple of days to rest. She said, your body is just, it ain't caught up. She said, especially the type of job you do. She said, now if you was sitting at a desk, I would say, yeah, go back to work. She said, but your job is physical. And I just did not have the energy. So I called the lady who worked downtown, who was over handling COVID. And so she started asking me questions. So she said, well, when you ride in the truck, because we had a truck where it was a 3-seater, where the driver had his seat and then there was 2 seats. I had my own seat and then my partner. So she asked me, how did we go out in the truck? So I told her, because I didn't think I was telling her anything wrong. She said no, because what they had started doing, they had started letting people drive their cars out to the routes. Well, I worked up north, and I wasn't driving my car out. I wasn't driving my car out because there's nowhere to park up there, up north. And I'm like, I'm not going to get no ticket. I'm not going to get a ticket. So I was like, I'm going to ride out, with the truck. She said, no, the RCC is supposed to take you out. It's supposed to be only one person in the truck with the driver, not 3 people. I said, well, the type of truck that we have, we all can fit in the truck. She was like, no, Miss Cotton, that's not how it goes. She was real nasty, like most people here. So she said, hold on a minute. She said, because I need to call your district soup and the assistant district soup to find out what is going on. And she said, after I talk to them, I'll click back over. Well, she purposely, and I believe this in my heart, she purposely clicked over and had us all on and had us all on a three-way. Well, they didn't know that I was on the phone. They just thought that it was just the three of them and not the four of us. So I was just quiet. So she called them and she asked them, she said, hi, I got a phone call from Miss Cotton, Sherelle Cotton, and she said that, she went back to urgent care. She tested negative, but they believe that she's experiencing long COVID. She said, I have the report right here. And she also called me to tell me. She said, but I talked to her and she told me that she rides out with the truck. And you all know that that's a no-no. You all know that 2 laborers and a driver can't be in the truck. It has to be 1 laborer and 1 driver, and the other laborer has to be driven out by the RCC, the supervisor of the route. But she's telling me that she rides out with the truck. Again, I didn't think I said anything wrong. I told the truth. She asked me, I told her. She said, you all know better. And she goes on to say, and you all were the #1 district in all the districts here that had the worst breakout of COVID. And you mean to tell me that you're letting 2 laborers and a driver ride together? So to save their ass, they threw it back on me. But they don't know that I heard them. So they went to body shaming me immediately. Now, the interesting part about this is that the woman who was talking to them, she too used to be a garbage labor before she got another position, and she just climbed up into positions, right? She also used to be a very heavy woman when she worked on the garbage truck. She had sleeve surgery and lost a lot of weight. Since then, she's gained it back because I've seen her. So, they don't know that though. Now, she's letting me listen to them. I never said a word. I just listened. It is the most disturbing and sickening thing to hear people talk about you who you thought liked you. You heard me say that you thought liked you. Oh, they tore me a new one. So the district soup says, well, I really think that she likes having COVID. I really do. I really think she likes having COVID. I think that she's pretending. I think that, she's one of these laborers that, she doesn't do her job very good anyway. Then the other assistant soup, who I had been friends with, or I should say, who I had a good rapport with, he says, yeah, and she's overweight. She's a heavy girl. And she likes this particular truck that she rides in because she doesn't have to climb up the truck, because this truck she just steps into because she's a heavy girl. So then the district soup said, yeah, she's really fat. She's a fat girl. And fat girls, they have an issue with climbing. She's slow. She doesn't move well when she's in the alley. She slows the route down. First of all, none of that had anything to do with what she asked them. All she asked them was, why wasn't the RCC taking me to the route? That's all she asked them. And these two motherfuckers went in on about my body. Now, the assistant soup, who I had a good rapport with, always would flirt with me. But now you want to talk about I'm a heavy girl. When I tell y'all I was on the other end of that motherfucking phone, like, and I just took it all in. And when I tell you, I was so hurt because both of them, the assistant soup and the district soup, I had a good rapport with. Just like these. Same thing. And you see how they turned on me. Same thing. So they went on to say some more derogatory things about me, and she just let them talk. All the while, I was on the phone. And I was like, I'll be damned. I was like, all right. Okay. So I just listened. Excuse me. I just listened. And I just took it all in. So she says, I didn't ask you all about her weight. I didn't ask you all about what kind of truck she likes. I asked you, why is it that you all are allowing laborers, 3 people in the truck when it only supposed to be 2, and she's supposed to be driven out to the route? She said, that's what I asked you all. Oh, they were scrambling and scrambling and scrambling, you know. And then he says, I never knew that she rode out with the truck. I never knew that. She said, how do you not know that? You don't know what laborers are with whom? Well, like I said, I never knew that. And like I said, you know, she's a fat girl. She's a big girl. I mean, just I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So they went on and on and on. On and on and on. Dragging me. So when the conversation ended, she knew she had me on the phone. She purposely let me hear what they said about me, because she too did not like neither one of them. And she set them up, and she set it in motion for me to hear it so I could know what the fuck I was dealing with, and then for me to do something about it. I got me an attorney, and I threatened to sue. And they were kissing my ass because I let them know that I heard them. I got off the phone. So when she hung up from them, she said, "Are you there?" I said, "Oh yeah, I'm here." She said, "Okay." She said, "I just wanted you to hear what you're dealing with over here." I said, "Oh, I understand." I told her, I said, I am just mortified that they would talk about my weight. And I'm going to tell you all this. I wasn't even as heavy as I am right now when this happened. I was a lot smaller. I've always been a thick girl. I've always had hips, thighs, and booty. Always. Okay? I've been shapely since I was the age of 12. That's just real talk. So she said, okay. She said, well, I'm going to follow up with them. She said, but moving forward, Miss Cotton, you are not to ride in the truck with the other labor. She said, if you need to go to the bathroom, when you guys go on break, you call the RCC and tell him that he has to come and get you. She said, and if they don't, this is my direct number. She said, you have it, call me. I said, okay. She said, I hope you feel better. I said, thank you. She said, and best wishes. I said, thank you. She said, you have a good day? I said, you have a good day. Now, I had worked under her when she was a district soup in another area. I had worked up under her. So I knew certain things about her too. But she was a black woman, like me. And she said, now, the information that you received today, what you've heard, she said, it's up to you to do what you want to do with it. She said, but the fact that they wanted to body shame you and act as if you're slow when you're in the alley, like you don't keep up with the route. And she said, I didn't ask them none of that. I just wanted to know why you were going out with the truck. I said, yeah. The worst thing in the world is to be, and this happened to Cheryl Underwood from the talk show The Talk. She talked about how she was on the phone and heard the other comedians talking about her. The worst thing in the world is to have to sit and listen to a motherfuckers talk about you and you can't say nothing. That's the worst feeling in the world. What I learned that day was that this job is racist, sexist, and have a problem with women over a certain type of weight. One of my coworkers here, he told me to tell that when they were ragging on me about my wearing blue jeans, he told me to tell them, about, my size. I have a hard time finding blue jeans. I said, no. I said, see, I've been through that already about my body. And I'm not going to make my body continue to be an issue or a problem for me being able to do my job, because they'll use that against me. So I told him the story about, what happened with me in the other department in Streets and Sand. And he was like, oh. I said, yeah. I said, so I will never, ever use that again. Or I will never use that as a reason for this, that, or the third. I said, no, I won't do that. Now, these trucks are even harder to get up on than the garbage truck. These are even harder, because you got a little steep step that you got to go up on. It's even harder. And I'm sure if I was on one of these trucks and I wasn't able to get up on the truck, they would use that. Because once again, my body has always been the talk on this job. Always. Always. I work around nothing but men. And if I worked around women, which I have here within this company, when I've worked around women, I've had women right here on this job not like me and hate me and say nasty and mean and hateful things about me to other people, just on the basis of the fact that I get a lot of attention from men because of my body. So my body has been a curse for me in a way when it has come to working here and in life itself. But the worst thing is to be to be asked to be quiet and hear motherfuckers talk about you and say things about you that is not true. That is the worst. So when I got off the phone with her, I was so mad. I was so mad. So I called my friend who was a clerk where I worked, who worked with these two bosses. And she said, what? And I told her everything they had said. And I remember that specifically. There was more things that they said. And she said, I cannot believe they did that to you, that they said that about you. I said, they did. And she said, they always up in your face. I said, exactly. I was crying. I was angry. I was mad. I was all that. She was like, Cece, stop crying. It's going to be okay. I was like, these rotten bastards. I was just going off. So I said, I got to call you back. I got to get myself together. So I got on the phone and I called another girlfriend who also used to work there. And I told her about it. And I was crying on the phone to her. And she was like, we were on video. She was like, I hate these motherfuckers here. I hate these. She was just, when we went to talking about how and she also is a thick girl like me. And then she went on to telling me stories about how she's been treated here. This job is predominantly black and brown people. There's a lot of Hispanic, Latino, and blacks that work here. There's not that many white people that work here. And the few white people that work here is very few. Or you have white people that are in, upper management. But even in upper management, you have Indian and Hispanic. And some black. Okay? So she gets off the phone with me. And she goes over to the other clerk's desk and tells the other clerk what happened. So as she's telling the clerk what happened, the district soup, who was our boss, he comes out and he hears my name, and they look at him and kind of give him a look. Now, he's a white guy. The other guy that was his assistant, he's Latino. And he was the one that I had a good rapport with before I met this guy. So he hears her say my name. And she sees both of them like shaking their head, and they're talking about it. He said, you all said something about Cece. He said, why y'all looking like that? Something wrong with her? Is she, I know she went home because she was sick. Because see, when I punched out to go home, he wasn't there. I don't know where he was, but the assistant was there. And he said, yeah, you look sick. And I was really sick. I remember getting home. I thought I was going to throw up, but I didn't. But I just felt awful. So my girlfriend, the clerk that I had told her to, she just looked at him and she just said nothing like that. And then she just walked away. He said, no, what's wrong? He said, why y'all looking like that? Why y'all rolling y'all eyes at me? What did I do? So the other clerk said, really? You didn't do nothing? Okay. And so the other clerk who I told it to, she said, I know how you really feel about us black women that work here, because she was a thick girl. The other clerk is a big woman too. All three of us. So they were offended. Because they thick too, like me. All three of us are built the same. Not just the three of us. There was another woman that worked there, she built like that. Another woman that's built like that. Almost all the black women that were working there were built like me. So once it got out what they said about my body, the black women over there was like, what? What the fuck? What? They said that about CC? Really? Oh, I wish he would turn this flashing light off. He flashing this light from this truck, and oh, he got the light on and the flashing light. This gonna give me a headache. So he said, what are you talking about? So the young lady who I told it to, she said, you know, I'm just really shocked that, you know, you all would talk about somebody's weight and talk about somebody being slow because they fat, and the only reason why she like a certain truck. So she repeated everything that I had said. She was like, how dare you all body shame her? He was like, whoa, wait a minute, where y'all getting that from? And so the other clerk said, ask yourself where you got it from. So now the assistant district soup, he walks in and he's hearing this. So they looking at each other, and he's like, what? How do you all know what we said? Because we were on the phone with so and so. So they said, we know you all said it. And they were like, oh shit, what is going on? So the young lady that I told it to, she says, she heard you all say it. She was on the phone. She heard everything you all said about her. And they were like, what? And so the young lady who I told it to, she said, yeah, she heard you say this, and this, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. And she just, because they were pissed. So then my phone started going crazy because I didn't know that they had revealed it to them. My phone was ringing off the hook. So the lady who had told that, you know, that told me, the lady who told me that, she calls me. Miss Kyle, did you have a conversation with somebody about the phone conversation that we were on? I said, no. She was like, well, I just got a phone call from the district soup, and said his name. I just got a call from him, and he told me that you were on the phone when we were talking, and he said that you heard everything I said. I said, so I played her. I said, no. I said, nope, I didn't have a conversation with nobody. I said, I ain't said nothing. She said, well, how does he know? I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I said, maybe he told it. I said, maybe he went out there and told them what he said. I said, I don't know. I said, maybe he just blowing smoke up your ass to tell you. And that's just how I said, so maybe he blowing smoke up your ass and telling you that to deflect on what he said, to cover his ass. So then he told them, the two clerks, you know, my back was up against the wall. She was questioning me and asking me this and asking me that. They said, so your back was up against the wall, so you decided to throw Cece up under the bus, both of y'all. So they told them, they said, we look at you all totally different. Totally different. Totally different. They said, because what the fuck you think is sitting out here every day trying to move from this light? It's giving me a headache. He was like, what the fuck? They was like, what the fuck you all think is sitting out here working with you all every day? We ain't no skinny chicks. How you gonna talk about her? So that's how you feel about us too? No, 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 no. They had started, the war had began. Once it got out to the other women, and what we should have done, because I did get a lawyer and threatened to sue. And they were all like, they were going to, we were going to file a civil action lawsuit and discrimination against race, gender, and, the body shaming, about talking about a person's weight. Oh, I'm so glad he gone. Whew, that truck and that light was giving me a headache. So, they lied. They lied. So now he's calling me. Hi, Cece, I need you to call me. It's important. I know what you heard. And it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. And I understand you're upset, but I really need you to call me. He called me about 6 times. I never answered. The assistant soup called me 3 times, and then he started texting. I never answered. When I went back to work, I went in, I punched in. They were all sitting out there at the table. Good morning. I hear anything? Walk the fuck out the door. I don't even think I spoke, to be honest with you. The assistant district suit, he texts me, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. What you sorry for? Because y'all just stood here and lied and said y'all didn't say it to them. So what you apologizing for? He sends another text. You and I, we've always been close. Yeah, motherfucker. Oh, I've helped him many times get out of some sticky ass situations. And this is what you do to me. Now I know who you are. Same way right here. Oh, we cool. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing? Blah, 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 blah. But you don't get the same me. Because you showed me who you are. You showed me who you are. So, this went on for about a couple of months where I had nothing to do with neither one of them. I said nothing, and people, all the laborers coming up to me, sue they motherfucking asses, sue they goddamn asses. So I got a lawyer and went through the proper channels, and they knew that I was gonna sue, so they started kissing my ass. Because they knew that I could have got their asses in big fucking trouble. So everything that I wanted or didn't even ask for, they would avoid me like I had a fucking disease. And one day, I was out on the route and I couldn't, something was going on. And the district suit came out there and said, well, I can get some, let me send another truck over here. They was doing everything. The moral of the story is people will show you who they are, and you must believe them. You can't second guess or say, well, nope. And shortly after that, I had stayed there a good little while. And then shortly after that, I came here. So I went to the assistant suit I said, I need a reference because I'm trying to get this job over in another department. He said, what you need me to do? I said, I need you to write me a letter of recommendation. Okay. He said, I'll do that. I said, they may call you. He said, I got you. They called him. The same motherfucker that said that I was fat and I was slow. Oh, he was singing my praises. It's been a hell of a ride right here. I got some stories to tell. And I'm going to write my book when I retire. I'm going to write it. Anyway, you all, I'm going to let you all go. I hope you all have a great day today. I'm getting ready to get out of here and go change into my blue jeans. And then change back into these pants. Anyway, so you all have a great day. Have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day. And have a safe day. And we shall do it again on tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to go live or not, because if it is pouring down raining when I leave here, it's supposed to rain this afternoon. If it's pouring down raining, I probably ain't going to come live. But it depends. So I may see you all when I come on live. I haven't been on live since last week, so I need to do that to make a little coin. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. So we'll see. But you all have a great day. And I will see you all either later on live, or I will see you all on tomorrow. We got 2 more days. 2 more days. It was a short week this week. Thank God. All right, you all. I'll see you soon, okay? All right. Peace and love and blessings and all of that good stuff. Have a great day. Okay. Bye.